broken life. It is not my problem, I am not your carving knife. You gotta take a long look in the mirror. Objects are closer, getting nearer and nearer. Don't let yourself cross the line. Love me, hate me, say what you wanna, break me. You can't hold me down. Drill me, fail me, you can never kill me. You can't hold me down, no, no, no. Love me, hate me, say what you wanna, break me. You can't hold me down. Drill me, fail me, you can never kill me. You can't hold me down, no, 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 no. 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 Thank you.
Why, thank you, sir.
Hey, everybody. I'm starting off strong with some technical difficulties. I just have to get my camera situated. Don't worry, I won't be long. I'm here. There I am. Good evening, everybody. How are you all doing? Welcome to Bands Across the Water. Starting off in fine form, as always, with some technical difficulties. It seems to be the theme for me anymore. But we had some technical difficulties earlier that I had to deal with. So I'm proud to say that we got through that stuff. And, well, you know, I fell a little short on the intro there. But I'm here, and I made it, and I hope you guys are doing well. Happy Sunday, everybody. Another Sunday, another week gone by. I hope you guys are all staying safe and doing well out there. Thank you all for joining me tonight. I have a great show, you know. I'm excited for this one. I have a special guest on tonight. If you guys don't know who the guest is tonight, well, you're gonna learn real quick because we're gonna have a lot of fun stuff to talk about. And I promise, I'm gonna do my best to make sure that there's no more technical difficulties. I promise. See, my laugh track is working, right? All right, how's everybody doing? You guys doing okay out there? Checking in to Twitch at twitch.tv/Darren Curtis Drums. Checking in on my Facebook page, facebook.com/Darren Curtis Drums. And, of course, over on my YouTube channel, I have no idea how this link is supposed to be remembered. But if you search for Darren Curtis Drums on YouTube, you should find me over there as well. All right, so let me tell you a little bit what's going on with the show. As you guys know, if you have tuned in before, and I know that there are some regular viewers out there. Hi, Mom. Thanks for being here. I love when my mom's here to watch the show. And I see Barb is there. Hi, Barb, checking in from London, Ontario. And I see Sandra is there as well. Hi, Sandra, checking in from Windsor, Ontario. I also see Don is in the house saying hi to Barb over there. Soul Wound, my friend, checking in over on Twitch. And I also see Carly checking in on Facebook there right now. So thank you guys for being here. As you know, this is a show about original bands, original musicians, and original artists. And I love to bring as many of those guys to you as I can, guys and gals, as I can every week, Sunday nights at 7 o'clock. And tonight is no exception. Every show has been, this is like episode 18. I was looking at that tonight, and I'm on like episode 18 already. Started way back in November 1st of 2020. Seems like so long ago now. But yeah, this is episode number 18, and every episode is really exciting because I have all kinds of technical issues. But I have a laugh track, and that's all that matters. So, all right, let me tell you who's on the show tonight. Are you guys excited? Hopefully the yes track worked, because sometimes I hit that stupid yes track and it never works, and I don't know why. But maybe it worked that time. You guys tell me out in the comments if you actually heard the yes out there. Well, thanks, Don. Thank you so much. She says not that time. I guess it didn't work. Here, I'm going to try it again. Ready?
Yes!
Did you hear it that time? No, I have a problem with my yes track. My yes track is a no track now. But you hear my laughing. That's the most important. Well, anyway, let me tell you guys about the guest that I have on the show. Are you excited? Because I am. Here we go. Let's talk about it a little bit, shall we? Checking in tonight from London, Ontario, I have my good friend, Mr. Gord Prior. He plays in a band called BLU BONES, and we have all kinds of exciting stuff that we're going to talk about. They just released a new song, which is an awesome song, by the way. If you haven't heard it, you're going to hear it tonight. And they just did a really cool benefit yesterday for a really awesome, important cause. BLU BONES, as well as several other bands over in Canada, were part of an amazing fundraiser that I would like to talk to Gord about as well. And we're going to play a song that was released exclusively on that show yesterday. And I got it here tonight. So I'm excited to play that one for you guys as well. But without further ado, I think I should bring him on camera. What do you guys think, huh? It's about that time. All right, friends, let's bring him on here. Mr. Gord Prior, my friend, thank you for being on the show.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
It's great to see you. How are you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great.
Ah, that's good. That is good. I'd noticed you have some Funkos in the background. What is that all about? Those are cool.
I think those are Rush Funkos.
Nice, nice. Well, in case you don't know, Funkos are sort of near and dear to my heart, so I like the Funkos.
It was a gift, I think, from one of my kids last Christmas. And yeah, so there's the Rush guys up there. And
I love it. I love it. And then on the other side of you, we were talking about that picture. Why don't you tell me just a quick something about that picture behind you? And we'll get into detail a little later. We'll get into detail, but tell me about that picture too, since we're talking
that's
about.
A picture of the late great Eddie Van Halen with my son Ronan back when Van Halen played in London. I just happened to bump into Eddie downtown. I was shopping, and there he was.
Wow.
And we had tickets for the show, and I had tickets for the show with my two boys, and I was with Ronan, and there was Eddie right on Dundas Street, down by the Galleria, and he was kind enough to, obviously talk to us for a little bit. That day, my camera had no space for a photo, and I was panicking.
Oh yeah.
He goes, give me the phone. And he helped fix the phone. He was the nicest guy, most gracious guy, and it was incredible. It was just a fluke, and something we'll never forget, of course, because it's the greatest of all time, in my opinion. There's a few others, but he's in the top 3 or 5.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I mean, that's an amazing story. I mean, yeah, I was just strolling down London on Dundas and ran into Eddie Van Halen outside a Galleria. It's like, what? That never happens, by the way.
That was pretty cool.
That's amazing. Yeah, it's a great story, and I agree with you wholeheartedly, 100%. He was in my top 1 of guitar players.
Oh yeah.
When I look at all of the things from being unique to influential,
yeah.
I don't know if there's too many people that top the list quite like he does. So
I think I blurt, like, you get nervous when this happens unexpectedly. I think I blurted out something really silly, like, "You're the greatest guitar player that's ever lived." Oh my God,
I love it.
Smiling and gracious about it, and anyhow, yeah, really, really nice guy. Seemed so humble, and he was just in his pajamas getting a coffee. His hotel was just a block up the street. So,
that's awesome. Well, you're allowed to have the fan moment. Like, you're allowed to do that.
Yeah, of course.
It's good. That's the stuff that keeps it real.
Yeah.
I mean, it's Eddie Van Halen.
Yeah, the one and only, right?
Oh, that's a great story, man. That's great for your son, Ronan, too. How awesome.
Yeah.
Fortunate for him, huh?
Yeah, he loved it. We still talk about it.
And he is a musician as well, is he not?
All of my children have different musical talents. Ronan is a little more low-key. Our oldest son, who's 20, he's a full-time musician, and he traveled and toured down in the States in a band, and he's writing and recording right now, I think with the new drummer from Bleecker Ridge, but he's out in Regina doing that.
Oh, good.
And yeah, so
why don't you send a shout out to the band so we can, the name of the band?
Yeah, I don't know if they have a name, like they're a brand new project.
Ah, I see. Okay. Oh, good.
Yeah, starting something new, and
that's exciting.
He sends me new ideas all the time, and it blows my mind what they're all up to. It's great to see, yeah.
I guess it's true the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree then, huh?
That can be a good thing or a bad thing.
Well, from everything that I can see, my friend, that's a good thing. So
yeah, well, you're very kind.
That's great. Well, that's good. So why don't we talk a little bit about what's happening with Mr. Gord Prior these days? What have you been up to? What's happening? I know we got a new song. We'll get to that. But how you making out? How are things going? How are you getting through these tough, difficult times? What's going on?
It's been crazy for everybody this year, hasn't it? So I mean, we all have our good days, we all have our bad days, and I have a professional career outside of music that keeps me really, really busy, and I'm thankful for that. And I've been able to work through this pandemic, although in a different kind of context. And then the music thing is something I've never stopped doing. I've always written songs and recorded songs over the years. I've never stopped. I don't play live as much as I'd like to, and the last time I went out on a tour was with a version of Blue Bones. It wasn't the original band. It was me and the original drummer, Steve Thomas.
Mm-hmm.
And we went
Steve, my buddy Steve.
Yeah. and Darren Smith from Harem Scarum and Red Dragon Cartel, he's such a good friend to all of us. He took us out for 4 shows when Jakey Lee's band with him played. We did Ottawa, Kitchener, London, and Toronto.
Nice.
And that was the last time that I really did any live shows. And then before that, I was doing the odd live show in a solo band, like called the Gord Prior Band, and I would do that with Jamie Constance from Sire, great drummer, a good friend of yours as well.
Absolutely, yeah.
And, Mark Costa was on bass, and we had a lot of fun. We did some really good shows. We played with Lynch Mob, and we played with Rival Sons, and so I've always kind of kept doing as much as I can when I can. This year with the pandemic, it was harder to get together with people, but Boris, the original guitar player from Blue Bones, and one of my best friends, this summer when things were quite different in London, the caseload was low, you could meet in a backyard and feel safe, and he played me some riffs, under the apple tree. And, he starts playing me this song, and I'm like, right away I heard the chorus and started singing it, and you grab your iPhone, you record it.
Right.
And I remember like a week later I listened back, and I'm like, I really like this chorus. And that's how it started, just innocently from just visiting each other. And then we kind of over time built up an arrangement for this song, just the two of us. Again, just using our iPhones, nothing fancy.
Yeah.
And we sent it to Steve Thomas, our drummer. We sent it to our good friend Ray Coburn, who's out in Montreal. He's been touring the world, playing Wembley, in beautiful stadiums with the Roger Hodgson band from Supertramp, and he's been sidelined because of the pandemic. So that's how we started building it, and people would do their tracks on their own or using, the technology we have today, and we would send them back and forth to each other. And Siegfried Meyer, who's helped me immensely, Beach Road Studio.
Beach Road, yeah.
Yeah, he tracked my vocal. He helped track the bass line. Barry Donahue, our bass player, drove up to Cambridge after work, put a bass line down. And it was just done kind of in a very relaxed, fun way. Nobody asked anybody to change their parts. Whatever anyone submitted was put in the song. And Siegfried Meyer used to teach Matty Green many, many years ago at, I'm going to pronounce this wrong, Oliart or what have you.
I think you said it right, actually. Oliart sounds right, yep.
and Matty's been down in the California area for a long time, and he's, I'm going to name drop right now, but he's mixed and produced like the Black Album by Weezer that came out just a year ago, I think, and he's worked with Ed Sheeran. He was the engineer on the new album by Paul McCartney.
Wow.
Dua Lipa, if I'm saying that properly, Coldplay. Like, this guy's got a resume like you wouldn't believe it. He's won a couple Grammys with Latin music, and
wonderful.
He heard the track and he agreed to mix it for us. And he sent it back, and we loved it. And we sent it to Harry Hess to get mastered.
That's Harry. He's also with Harem Scarum, speaking of Darren earlier.
Yeah. These are all friends we've had for years.
Yeah,
and
right.
Harry masters just about everything you hear on the radio up here in Canada.
Yeah.
From Big Wreck to Billy Talent to Arkells to Glorious Sons, the list, everything. He masters everything. So he did a good job on that. And,
hell of a singer and songwriter as well.
Oh, incredibly talented.
Super talented. That's great.
Yeah, that's an understatement.
Right.
So, we had a lot of good people kind of come together as a team, and that's how it kind of happened. And it was a great distraction during all of this insanity to kind of chip away at this over the year.
Is this the new video that we're talking about? The song to the new video?
Yeah, She's Got Away with Love. And then I innocently went on Facebook months ago and I said, I thought, we maybe should do a video for this. And then I got thinking, we're all getting a lot older. I don't know, like, if we want to do a video where we're standing in a bunch of fog and strobe lights. I thought weird about it. I'm like, it'd be cool to do an animated video or something kind of bright and colorful. And I put a mention on Facebook about it, and I got a huge response. I was hoping, someone's son or daughter might be really good at this and be able to help us out.
Right.
But lo and behold, Rich Adkin, who is just a great guy, he used to play in a band years ago, and they used to do shows with us. And apparently he really loved our band back when he was going to college.
Awesome.
And he came forward. He said, "I'd like to help you do an animated video." And I had no idea. He was the CEO of Flickly Animation, who they do animation for Oracle, the United Nations, IBM, Walmart, big stuff, right?
Right.
Uh,
That's a nice connection to have. Who loved your band way back when?
Yeah. So I mean, he became part of the team, and then he's got a big team, and his company's spread out all over the world. So our first real meeting took place on a Zoom call. I'm exactly where I am with this Yellow Submarine Lego set in the background.
I love it.
Now, they wanted to pick my brain about ideas for this video, so I said, I just want the video to be happy, funny. It's a song about, boy meets girl. Don't look for meaning where there's no meaning, We've had enough politics. We've had enough negativity. I just wanted to do something fun. Just 3 minutes of happiness. That's really what I wanted. We all did. And they asked me, what kind of ideas. And this Yellow Submarine thing was in the background during the meeting with the producer, her name's Madison. She's out of Berlin, Germany. And this kind of caught the theme. And then when you do see our video tonight, you're going to notice that is the color scheme.
I love it. No, yeah. Now that you say that, it's totally true. And
it started right here.
I'm going to show you later on, maybe on a break or after the show. We'll do a little tour of the studio that I'm at here, and we have a gigungous Yellow Submarine hanging right over top of my drum set out there in the tracking room.
That's awesome. I've got Yellow Submarine Christmas decorations, and this year I got a Yellow Submarine cookie jar, big ceramic one from my girlfriend. It's awesome.
Oh,
so
that's cool. That's great.
I'm a bit of a Beatles geek,
Well, yeah, and it show. I can see the color scheme. Like, it totally is the video. Like,
Yeah.
It's like, oh my gosh, yeah. It totally fits. The video is great. Like, what a great idea to go with the animation. I think it really shows a fun side of the band that a lot of people maybe never really saw before. This is a real different side of Blue Bones, right? Wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I mean, the history, like Blue Bones used to be called, we were a cover band in the 80s. And we used to go out west just like you guys did and just play covers all night and slip in your originals.
Yep.
And 3 sets a night. Sunday you're driving to Atikokan,
3 or 4 originals a set, maybe, if you're lucky.
Yeah, slide them in, hope the bar owner didn't notice, right? And so Raucous became Blue Bones, and the early versions of Blue Bones, we were pretty commercial. We had very, songs that could be compared like to the style of Extreme or,
Sure.
Mr. Big, like nice big poppy choruses. And then, Nirvana came along, Alice in Chains, Soundgarden, and we all, Faith No More, Jane's Addiction, just like all of us.
Yeah.
It swept us away.
Right.
And our direction, started to change, and we got heavier and heavier and more deeper into like the grungier, angst-ridden sound. And we met a producer that signed us, helped us get our record deal. He owned Phase One, Paul Gross, and he really encouraged us to push deeper into that. So we did a lot of songs that I guess you could say were venting, angry about that. But that's when you're young,
Sure.
And
Well, and that was definitely what was going on in the music at the time too. There was a lot of that. The pretty boy fluff of the '80s was sort of gone. The Seattle sort of grunge scene was coming on, and it was more of a we don't give a crap kind of attitude, and we're just going to play our instruments, and we're not about the video that killed the radio star sort of syndrome. We're just all about making music with our instruments, and whether you like it or not, this is what we're doing. And you vented and wrote about things that were relevant, to you at that time.
We tried to do live shows that would leave an impact. So, I was getting into theatrics on stage and just, smashing things. But that gets tired really quick too. And I'm 53 years old now. So, I mean, that angst that I had when I was 22, it's gone.
Yeah, right.
I don't have that anymore. And
Right.
I would have a hard time singing some of those songs, maybe not like vocally, but just emotionally. I don't really feel it. And then Blue Bones went through some changes and different things. And on our second album, which kind of happened as the band was breaking up and new members were coming in and we were changing our name, and we were pretty confused around that time. But
sure,
we did put out a record called Louche Papa, which really is an album that was started with the original band and finished with the help of guys like Jeff Fountain and Corey Thompson from Thundermug and Rob McEachran, and they're all incredible musicians, and they helped us finish it. But that second Blue Bones record, it started heavy, and then the last half of it's very pop, very kind of Oasis-ish, Beatlesque.
Huh.
So we always had that.
Right.
It's just, a lot of people remember us for that first Blue Bones record, Sync, which was definitely pretty heavy.
Sure. Yeah. It was a great album, great songs, great stuff on all of that. That entire album was a great album. So.
You're kind. We never got to mix it, final mix. So a lot of those mixes that we put out were what they call monitor mixes that the engineer would give you to listen to after you worked all day in the studio.
Right.
Our budget ran out. Our record deal wasn't what we thought it would be. We didn't have the money to kind of complete it properly, unfortunately. So we had no choice but to just put it out as is and hope that the strength of the songs would push through. But, we do. That's why this time I said, to the guys, me and Boris, we said, if we're going to do something new, let's really try to make sure it's mixed properly.
Yeah. Did you actually get it mastered? Did you get this copy mastered as well?
Yeah.
Just that's kind of, I mean, as little as it costs to get a song mastered, because it's really not a lot of money to get a song mastered, but it does make a huge difference. And not to say that what you did back then was wrong. By no means was it wrong. It was what you did back then. It was right. But yeah, just it can make a big difference. And a small amount of the budget, I get it. Back then was a whole different animal. But yeah, for what it's worth,
We wanted to get out on tour in 1994, so we put that record out. We went out on tour. Our first tour was with April Wine, and it was an arena tour. Our first show was in Lethbridge Arena with them and Honeymoon Suite, and that's how we met Ray Coburn.
Right, yeah.
He came backstage after our set and said, I love you guys, And awesome. I remember that night. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I just said awesome. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. And I remember their guitar player, Derry. He's an incredible songwriter, one of my favorite Canadian rock guitarists for sure. He's like, we were all going out for dinner, and I remember Derry sitting on the bed with Boris saying, no, you guys go ahead. I'm going to sit with this Boris guy. I got some licks to learn, right? And they were, I thought it was so cool because they were just sharing licks back and forth. And then I think the next night we're playing, and Honeymoon Suite's up there, and they're a great band live. If you've never seen them live, they're excellent. And I could hear some of Boris's riffs in some of the songs, right? But I mean, those were just fun things to do. And I remember even back then, some people in our management said, maybe you shouldn't go out with April Wine. It's more of a classic rock band. But we had the attitude back then, like, we'll play with anybody, and I loved April Wine as a kid.
Right, yeah, super songwriters.
Yeah, they became really good friends. I was talking to Miles Goodwin through email this week, and Jerry Mercer, the drummer, he's been to our house for dinner over the years a few times, and they're all great guys. I was really, we were very close to Jim Clench, who passed away, and they were so supportive, but we would do shows with them, and then the next week do a show with the Tea Party, and then the next week Our Lady Peace would open up for us at RPM, and then a week later they were the biggest band in the world. We never saw those guys again,
Right.
So we're pretty lucky, and not to mention some of the great local bands that we got to play with, like Aces Wild and the
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, we did shows at the Gasworks, and you guys were great. And we used to do shows with SFH, Bob Reed, who now has Bob Noxious,
Yeah.
Razor. Buffalo Brothers did a lot of shows with us. Another amazing band.
Yeah.
Acid Mudflower. I mean, there's so many local bands back then that they were just incredible. So the scene in London has always been pretty awesome.
That's very true. Absolutely. Speaking of Ray, I remember I had the pleasure of opening up for Honeymoon Suite a couple of times. And like one of the times, actually I don't know if it was twice with Aces Wild, maybe. And then many years later, I play in an 80s tribute band, and we were on a bill with them, and I played with them twice. So I got to know Ray pretty good from these gigs. We chatted a lot. Super nice guy, you know. And Dave, actually, on one of the gigs, I used Dave's drum set, and then on another gig, Dave used my drum set. I think it was the other way around. I think there was a gig where Dave was coming into town and he was going to be like late for the gig, and would it be okay if he used the opening act drum kit? And I was like, of course, you know, I don't care. I mean, it's a drum set.
Yeah. Well, that's the road, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like
and then the next time was it was a festival, and I want to say it was actually April Wine was on that bill too. And funny thing was I ended up having. The festival was the first story. The second story was in this small little bar in Amherstburg. Honeymoon Suite was playing there, and we were opening for them. And the stage was this tiny little space of a stage, and it literally only had enough room for one drum set on it, you know? So it was like, hey, you remember back then when can we return the favor and I'll use your drum kit this time? So, and I got to meet Ray and know Ray through those. And so I was really quite an interesting turn when I heard the new song and when I heard that Ray was playing in the band, because this is new, right? You guys didn't have a keyboard player in the old days.
No, and like to be honest, last time I saw Ray in person was up at the casino in Aurelia. He was playing with Roger Hodgson and the Roger Hodgson band, and I was sitting beside this other guy and his girlfriend. I didn't know who he was. Turned out it was Ryan Malcolm, the first winner of Canadian Idol, the singer.
Nice.
Ray played in that Canadian Idol band at one point. So they were there to see Ray.
That's amazing.
Ryan's a top-notch realtor in the Bayfield area. We actually have teamed up to work with each other in the real estate world. And, so it shows you how hard the music business can be. I mean, he won Canadian Idol, and he's working at Royal LePage, but he still plays. He's great. And we all went up and said hi to Ray after the show. We went up to his hotel room, and Ray's always been really nice. Like, whatever band he's been in Kim Mitchell, he's been in Alana Miles, Crash Test Dummies, Corey Hart, like so many bands he's worked with. And every time a band that he's been in has come to town where I'm living, he always has me come out and visit. Often we would have dinner. And he'd say, Gordy, one of these days we're going to record together. One of these days, buddy, we're going to do it. So I took a chance. I sent him the track. I said, how do you feel about playing on this song? He did it. We couldn't believe how, like, his parts really take a real huge place in the track.
Oh my gosh, yeah. It's a keyboard solo.
It's wicked. And he never...
It's killer.
When he tracked his keyboards, there was no vocal guide. He just had
awesome.
Steve's drums and Boris's guitar. And there was no vocal guide. There was no bass line. He just had those two tracks. And it's uncanny how his parts just fit so good with the melodies that are in the song.
Right, yeah. And when I heard the keys in there, I'm like, whoa, this is different, you know? And then I saw it was Ray, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is great, you know? And then you get to the keyboard solo, and it's like, oh my gosh, this is perfect. Like, it's such a great sound. I really dig this song. I think it's a great song. I love that it sort of started out with just you and Boris's. I'm sure many of your songs have started out that same way, with some guitar riff of Boris's that you had a melody pop into your head, and then the next thing you know. Yeah, that's
really. Yeah, and Ray, I mean, what did he say? He used like a '70s moog on that track, so it's really kind of overdriven, and it's a moog. That's all it is a moog.
Nice.
There's no right. So I said that's like right up my alley, like Paul McCartney and Wings, you know.
Yeah. So this song, we're gonna play the video here in a minute, but this song, I hear a lot of influences in this song that I may may not have necessarily heard in previous stuff of yours, of Blue Bones,
Right.
but it really comes to surface in this song to me. And I know that some of these bands that that this song is showing your influences, like Cheap Trick, for example. It really shows in this song, and it's fantastic because you really kind of got back to your roots, I think, and the stuff that you love probably growing up and put it into a song more or less.
Yeah, well, I mean, the 70s radio was awesome. Even if you lived up in Northern Ontario, where I'm from in Sudbury, AM radio back then, I mean, it just played all the Queen, all the Alice Cooper, all the Cheap Trick, like, and you know, I used to get excited when I'd hear like "Ooh What a Night," the Fire Bell, you know, and
Yeah.
it was heavier rock, right? So, yeah, I mean, the 70s, 80s was obviously a big influence when you're young.
Sure. Yeah.
And probably my favorite era of music is the 70s, to be honest.
Right. Barb Klein, our dear friend Barb Klein, over on Facebook, she says that she still has her sync CD. She still has it.
That's awesome.
That's great. And then my mom is over on Facebook as well. That's Bev Curtis over there. That's my sweet mom checking in. She's commenting on my handsome sweater that I'm wearing. In case you guys didn't know.
Ah,
Oh, which side? This side? Yeah, there it is.
there you go.
I'm wearing my Canada shirts tonight in honor of my guest that's on. As most of you know, I live in the United States now, so I try to go back and forth bands across the water. I try to go back and forth and you know, in between Canada and the United States as every other week if I can, but logistically it doesn't always work out that way. But well, thanks, Mom. I appreciate
That's
that.
great shirt.
And Barb is saying that she wants to be 20 again because hearing us talk about all these great bands in the London music scene, right?
You know, we were lucky. We had a lot of fun, eh?
Absolutely, yeah. It was pretty awesome. There was a lot of. It was a really nice, and it's always been. I've talked about this in many occasions, and I think, you know, myself, I can only sort of speak from my experience, but you know, I was born in Windsor. I grew up in Windsor. I moved to London when I was about 17 or 18 years old. So my roots in music started in Windsor. I grew in the community of musicians, and I gained a lot of friends and a lot of great people. Then I uprooted and moved to London, you know, and where I spent a vast amount of my 20s and almost into my 30s beyond touring and playing, and again a whole slew of awesome friends and musicians that were gained, you know, from that experience. And then I moved back to Windsor and I spent another 10 or plus years there and did a whole other thing with this 80s tribute band, which gained a whole other pile of friends and, you know, local musicians and all that. And then in 2013, I moved to the United States and I got involved in Elsie Binks and this original band. And it has opened up a whole other slew of amazing friends and musicians, you know.
Incredible.
Yeah. So this whole show for me was like, man, I know so many awesome musicians that deserve like to be heard, and you're obviously one of those people, and I feel that way about your band and so many of the bands that you've mentioned, you know, already. But when you put this song out, it was like, okay, I'm gonna get in touch with Gord because I know you haven't done anything in a while. It's been a while since you put any new music out with Blue Bones, right?
Oh yeah, well, especially like with this like original lineup. It's been really over 25 years.
Yeah. So how long has it been since Blue Bones has put out a song? Just would you say, like in any lineup, in any form?
Well, our album came out in 1994, and then in 1997 we put out Louche Papa, which is probably known as the worst name for a band in the world. I think I agree with that. God knows what we were thinking. But it really was kind of the original band, but like I said, with other musicians helping to finish the record. And then, you know, in 1999 we did something under the moniker Mind War Symphony, which was very heavy because we went out with Kitty and toured with Dry Kill Logic and Il Nino, like these Roadrunner Ozfest bands, and then the Magnificent Kitty, and
right.
They were so good to us. They took us out on the road, and we were the opening act, and we were also the road crew. Yeah, but they also gave us our own tour bus. Like, it was insane. And
awesome.
We did, like, every show under the sun. We played the Fillmore West in San Francisco. We played the Hard Rock at the Mandalay Bay. We played the Limelight, the Bowery Ballroom. Like,
fantastic.
Pretty much hard rocks everywhere across the country. And I'll never be able to thank them enough for that. But again, that wasn't Blue Bones. It was an incantation
sure.
of it, me and Boris did. So really, it's been over 25 years since this original band did anything together like this.
That's awesome. So when I heard the song, I thought to myself, I really want to get Gord on the show, and I'm grateful that you were able to do it, because our history as friends and musicians, and the shows and the things that we've done together. I've always had a respect for all you guys. And as musicians and as friends, and when you released this new song, I was like, man, I got to get him on the show, because I really want people to hear this song. It's a great song, and I want to catch up, because it's been a long time since we've had a chance to even talk, so yeah. I'm glad we got the opportunity, and I'm super happy that you're able to do the show. So let's play this song. I want you to tell me a little bit about this, and then we're going to go right into that video.
Okay, well, we started the recording of this actually in our old practice hall. Boris recorded all his own guitars in there, and everybody, like I said, kind of remotely did their parts, and it was all assembled by our engineer and co-producer Siegfried Meyer, and then it was sent down to Matty Green at Studio 55 in Los Angeles, and he was gracious enough to mix it for us, and this is how it turned out. Awesome. And then Flickly Animation did this absolutely stunning video for us.
Based on the Yellow Submarine.
Based on the Yellow Submarine, and there's a lot of people involved. They have a really great team there. So thanks again, Rich, and everyone at Flickly.
Well, they did a fantastic job, because it's really well done, and even like the caricatures, like they look like you guys. They really do. Like,
it's funny.
It's really good. Yeah, they did a great job. All right, well, let's check this out. I'm excited to show everybody this video. So let's check this. It's a great song. I hear the Cheap Trick. I hear the Beatles influences in it. Super catchy, gets stuck in your head kind of a song. And I love that Ray had to play some keys to like literally no melody line. And he did a fantastic job. So it's a great deal all the way around. Shout out to Diane Dixon, who's just checking in over on Facebook right now. She says it's better to be late than never.
Hi, Diane.
She's right. It's better late than ever. Richard Adkin is checking in, saying, thanks, Gord. He's listening in. So great job on the video. So let's get to it, shall we? Here it is, you guys. This is Blue Bones. The song's called She's Got a Way with Love, and you're going to love it. Here it is.
She's got a way with
dig that song. What a great song. That's a great song from Blue Bones called She's Got Away with Love. Such a cool video, right? Isn't that a great video? I thought you guys would like that. So, all right, let me get back to Mr. Gord. I wasn't sure if he was there with me, so I want to make sure that he's there. And he is. Let's bring him back on camera. Here he is. Gord, that is such a cool song.
Thank you. You're very kind. I appreciate it.
I do. And Ray did such a good job, too.
It was fun because there's no pressure, and we just did it for the love of it. It's a labor of love. Like you never know how people are gonna respond, or if they're gonna like it, hate it. You know, some of the people that liked our heavier music probably are thinking, "Oh, that's pretty sappy and poppy," and then there's a bunch of new people that probably never even heard of us that might like the song just on its own merits. But I think I said this to you earlier. The process of making it and doing it is almost more fun than putting it out, because once you put it out, it's like, oh boy, I wonder how this is going to go.
Right. You're sort of dangling by a string at that point. The vulnerability is now out there, and it's
out right now.
Right.
You upload, it's out. Right?
I mean, as artists, though, we've always kind of been putting ourselves out there in vulnerable positions, and you know, whether it's even just performing covers on stage or writing your own songs, there's a certain level of vulnerability of just putting yourself out there into the public's eye, you know. So
yeah, it's a bit weird, and you can't take yourself too seriously either, right? Like, it's the internet. There's who knows who's going to see it, where it's going to land, but the response has been amazing, and you know, you want to talk about helping you get through COVID and the darkest days of winter. This has just been so much fun for all of us, and being on a show like this with you, it's great. What a great way to...
thank you. I appreciate it. And this for me started, you know, honestly, it started out, you know, I'm a drummer, I'm a musician, I'm a music producer, I write and record and play and do all the things. You know, this started out for me through COVID. It was just like, man, I want to keep doing something more music, you know.
And you tour and play full time. You're a professional touring drummer and a great one at that. And
thank you, sir.
Guys like you and guys like Ray and Miles Goodwin from April Wine. Any of my friends that are that are full time musicians, whether it's playing casinos, whether it's playing clubs, whatever. They're being, you know, put through hell right now. This is the hardest thing any entertainer's ever gone through, and
absolutely,
it's just, you know, it's almost too much to comprehend at times. And
well, you know, I want to just say this because, you know, in your case, and you just kind of nailed it. In my opinion, what you just said about what you did with this song during this time. Even if you never released this song, even if no one ever heard this song, what it did for you and what it did for your bandmates, and you know, just for that alone, the creative process, you know, and now it's out there. Now it's like the vulnerable, you know. But like you said, that part of creating it and doing the work of getting to that point, and the camaraderie and the songwriting and that's gold. You know, and
that's the most important part, is the friendships, the laughing and the joke telling.
Right.
And, you know, we're not a major recording act or anybody that has an agenda. We're doing this for fun. And so you got complete freedom. There's no rules. Like I said to Ray, I go, just do whatever you want.
Right.
Let's have fun.
And
what else? You know. And
it shows in the music. If you ask me, it shows. Like from drums up, it shows everybody's just kind of this was done for the fun of it. This song is about the fun, you know, and it reflects in the music. You can feel that in the vibe, you know.
Yeah.
Right down to the video.
Yeah.
You know.
Every time I see the video, I smile. Every time.
It's great. So our guitar player from LC Binks, EBX Johnny, he's checking in over on Twitch. He says awesome song and video.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Awesome. My mom says great interview. Thanks, Mom. And I didn't even have to pay her to say that. And then who else? Dawn over there checking in from London. I think she's in London. Dawn, are you in London? I'm not even sure right now. Very cool video, she said. So, and Diane, of course, Diane Dixon says, love the song and the video.
That's awesome.
What's not to like?
Diane's a big part of the music scene here in London before COVID, and you go to any rock show, she's either working there or helping to promote the bands, and big part of the community here. So we appreciate all of the things that she does, as well as a lot of her friends. It's pretty awesome to see that.
Absolutely, it is. Yeah.
I've done all my shows over the years, right? So
Yeah.
hi, Diane.
Right. A shout out to like a lot of our friends who started out as fans. You know,
Yeah.
there's a lot of people, and I'm sure in your life and definitely in my life, that started out as people that were coming to the show because they liked your band. And then the next thing you know, they're like your friends of 30 years.
Yeah.
And the next thing you know, they're doing animation for your new video. You know, these friends that you've just, you know, fans that turned into friends. You just, you know, it's really amazing. So shout out to all of the Dianes and the Barbs. I can name a few. Jimmy Jams is another one. We have some friends that just, you know, have been there for years, and if we would, all we need is like 1 million more just like them. We want 1 million more friends just like them.
That's right.
That's great.
Miles Galen always told me over the years, he goes, Gordy, you're 3 minutes away from success. Which means you just need a 3-minute hit.
One song.
One song. And, you know, so this song, ironically, is just under 3 minutes. We didn't plan it, but...
Well, maybe this is the one then.
Whether it's a hit or not remains to be seen.
And it doesn't matter. It's what it gave you during the process.
Yeah,
you know,
100%.
How did COVID treat you, Gord? It treated me awesome. I made this amazing song with my amazing friends, and I have an amazing video. Does anybody love it? I don't know. I do.
I love it.
Right. And Richard loves it too. He says he's a huge fan, and he had Sync playing on repeat last Friday.
That's awesome. The neat thing...
and you're an okay guy too, he says.
He's awesome too. You know, ever since Rich and his company helped us do this video and we put the song out, I've been getting like emails from friends and fans, you know, holding up a copy of the old Sync record saying, you know, I ordered this on Amazon, I got a copy today, and so that's just fun.
Amazing.
And cool. Yeah. So yeah, we're very grateful, and we've been getting a little bit of radio play. I mean, someone said that CBC just played us. We're on Cashbox Radio, and there's other stations out there that hopefully will pick the song up. I know I'm on Sirius XM next week. I don't know the date and time yet.
Well, good.
On that Eric Alper show, and that'll be coming out. So that's pretty cool.
Absolutely. That's great. Awesome.
We're very, very grateful for some of the support we've been getting. It's just amazing.
Yeah, no, good for you, and it's well-deserved. I mean, the song is great. So I like to think that, you know, the video is only going to help because it's a great video. But at the end of the day, it boils down to the song. You know, is it a good song? It's a damn good song. So,
well, it was a big team effort.
That's great. That's great.
You get I get all the right people involved, and it's all about having fun and just doing something to make each other, you know, be happy and contribute a little bit. It's just you know, it's a gift. You know, I didn't realize that until the process started unfolding more and more, and you know, some days for all of us aren't easy. You know, you get up, you might have a flat tire, or you got to shovel the driveway, or all of a sudden you get a notice you're not allowed to work, you're in a lockdown, and or your kids are home, and you know, everybody's going through incredible amount of stress this year.
Yeah.
So this was kind of like therapy for everybody, just a little sideline to kind of stay sane, if that's
absolutely,
you know.
It makes a whole lot of sense. It really does, and it's a blessing. You're absolutely right. It's a blessing to be able to have, you know, in my case, in your case, have a lifetime of something that we love to do. A lot of people never find what it is that they love to do that makes them happy, like that brings them pure joy. You know, it can bring you a lot of things, but it also can bring you pure joy. So, we're fortunate and blessed and lucky to have found those things, you know, and
absolutely
had it for our whole lifetime. You know, so okay. On that note, I want to talk a little bit about what happened with your band yesterday. You guys were part of a pretty cool thing, huh?
That was really awesome.
It's amazing.
Hats off to Brian Vollmer from Helix, lead singer of Helix. He's, that guy's done so much over the years for other people.
He's amazing.
Yeah, even back in a long time ago, Helix asked me to sing backups on the Back for Another Taste album, which was when they were still on Capitol Records, and they were doing great.
Yeah.
They were such a supportive bunch of guys, and I remember loving Helix as a kid in high school. Who didn't love Rock You,
Right.
And they'd be touring the C&E with Whitesnake and the Scorpions, and so for me back then to sing on that album was a big deal, and they've always been friends and supportive, and over the years, Brian and me developed our own friendship. I've been fortunate enough to help co-produce and co-write 3 different Helix records with him.
Fantastic.
And one of my best friends, Steve Georgikopoulos, that you know, who was famous for playing Ace Frehley in the band Alive.
Right.
And those guys did great as a tribute band. They actually opened for the Real Kiss on the Kiss convention
Right.
tour.
Isn't that something? Yeah. It's great.
Amazing, right? So, me and Steve have written a lot of songs over the years as well in a band called Buddy with Archie from the Buffalo Brothers and other friends of ours. Chris Caron's been in the band, and again, Jeff Fountain. Anyhow, me and him worked with Helix on records, and Brian did this charity event for Tristan, who was hit in a hit-and-run accident, young fella, and he's paralyzed, and he needs stem cell treatment. And Brian started getting, some really good artists like Tim.
He's got a who's who, didn't he?
Yeah, I hope I don't forget anybody, but I know, the Mudmen and local bands like After the Lounge, they did a great job. Sire, Lee Aaron, Tim Hicks, Danko Jones, Todd Kearns from Slash's band, of course Helix. We were grateful to be asked to do it. Me and Boris did just a kind of a semi-acoustic song. If I've left anybody out, I apologize, but it was they exceeded their fundraising efforts.
You're right. That's what I heard. I think they had set a goal at 15,000 or something like that, and they surpassed it super quick.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
And there's a lot of Rock Paper Merch, a merchandise company that works with a lot of big Canadian artists. They help promote it. Studio 73 or with Jay Panasenko, and he helped promote it. And the London Forest City Music Awards and Mario, they helped promote it. And all the bands helped promote it. And Brian did a really good job. So it was. I loved watching and hearing all my friends play.
Right.
It was awesome.
It's funny. I was talking. I sent you a message yesterday, and I was actually in the middle of a video shoot all day. I actually was in a video shoot yesterday for a project that I was involved in, and it was really fun. I had a great time, but I missed the whole thing yesterday. So fortunately, I was actually going back this morning, and I was watching some of the stuff, and I'm like, oh, look at it's Doug and Chris and Rick, and I'm like, oh my gosh, look at it looks like Bob Noxious. Oh look, it's it's like all of our friends.
Weren't they all great?
Oh my gosh, it was wonderful.
My friends like Bob and Brad Gibb, and wow, you guys are awesome tonight. And I was texting Sire and After the Lounge, I was cheering everybody on. But yeah, it was fun.
It was awesome. It was great to see everybody's faces too, because I had like Rob, for example. I didn't even know he played drums in After the Lounge.
I love Sarah Smith, the great Sarah Smith,
and she was actually on the show. She was, I want to say, episode 5, I think, for me.
She was amazing, and so if I've left anybody out, I do apologize, but it was just such a success, and
it's wonderful. Barb says it was awesome. Sandra over there, she was watching too. She says it was a really great show. That's great, and it's so awesome that they surpassed their goal of fundraising goal. Because Tristan needs stem cell treatment in Michigan, from what I understand.
That's what it is. Yeah, he has to go to the States. And his mom has been, like Brian said, she's turned her whole apartment into kind of like a hospital ward.
Wow.
And he has his good days and he has his bad days. And it was just a great to see how everyone can come together.
I love it.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. But again, none of it would have happened without Brian Vollmer. He's the one that got the ball rolling and made the calls, right? And it was pretty cool.
Good for him.
Yeah.
That's amazing. He's his support for not only London musicians,
Yeah.
but just the city. Even though I know in his experience, I don't know that he's necessarily felt supported by his hometown in certain cases. But I know he's always been there. Supporting local musicians, and in this case, is Tristan actually from London?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's amazing. Is it
Yeah.
any kind of relation, or is this just like a story that how did this come to be? Do you know?
Brian's an interesting character. I think he's up every morning at 5 a.m. and he goes to Tim Hortons and he reads the paper. And he read this article. I think he read about it in the newspaper, and he said it just kind of really hit him.
I love that.
And he just felt compelled, right? So that's pretty cool. I mean, yeah, Helix are a big part of our history, and the very first Blue Bones gig we ever did was with Brad Ondervik on drums, another fantastic, amazing drummer, and a great guy. And his son, Charlie's super talented and plays with my son, Talon. So anyway.
That's right.
But we were playing, I think it was Strathroy, or I'm pretty sure it was Strathroy or Stratford. I'm not 100% sure. But it was our very first gig. We were nervous. Our first gig as an original band.
Right.
Nobody knew who we were. Nobody cared. And Paul Hackman and Daryl Gray from Helix drove from wherever they lived to come and support us. And I never forget that. You know, they were awesome from the get-go, and God bless you, Paul, and rest in peace. He was
Paul, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, he was just the nicest guy. And so Helix has always been kind of part of our story in a way too,
right,
you know.
Right. I'll never forget. I saw you guys, and I believe it was in Strathroy at the Pine Ridge. And Brad was playing drums, so this was early stuff. I remember Brad playing drums with you guys back then. So I don't know if this is the same show as what you're thinking, but it was definitely in Strathroy at the Pine Ridge for sure that I remember seeing, and Brad was still playing with you guys. So that goes back a long time.
Yeah,
it really does.
Band he's in right now called Twin Fin that are really cool. Kind of like, well, you just look it up, you'll see what I mean. But it's pretty awesome music.
Yeah, Twin Fin. Yeah, check them out, you guys. Twin Fin, for sure. Good stuff. Kind of swing, jazzy swing, horn-based, cool stuff.
Yeah, and he's got that pocket, right? And I've seen them a few times, and Cole Benjamin's in that band.
Yeah.
I think he's the leader of the band, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, great guys, great band, great lead singer. She's amazing.
Oh, that's awesome. So, kudos and shout out to Brian Vollmer from Helix for his amazing fundraiser that he started and organized and put together and came up with the idea to do it. And I'm so proud of the community in London, the music community, for stepping it up and coming forward and raising beyond what they were hoping to raise in funds for this Tristan that needs this Michigan stem cell treatment. Man, I feel horrible for the family. It's terrible, but what an amazing group of a cast of characters that came together to do this for someone, for basically a stranger, is just awesome. I love it.
Yeah, it was awesome.
So why don't we talk a little bit more about this video that you debuted then, this that I'm going to show next.
Okay.
Why don't you tell me a little bit about that? This played yesterday.
Yeah, so the second Blue Bones album that came out in '97 under the name Whoosh Papa. It was kind of a rarity, but the last song on that record was called Bag, which is a short form for Boris and Gord.
Nice.
Back then, we recorded with Dan Broadbeck, who's a good friend and an amazing producer out of London. He's done some great work with other artists. Anyhow, this was just a 2-track recording back in 1997. 1-track guitars, 1-track vocal. Real simple, was the last song on the record. And when I called Boris and I said, hey, Brian's invited us to be a part of this. Is there a song you think we could do? Just the two of us. And that was this first response. That's the obvious one.
Right.
And so we went out to we've been practicing in this, we call it the Shack. And it's a practice hall Blue Bones has been in from day one, and it's in Boris's backyard.
Nice.
And originally we were going to record like inside the shack, but there's really no windows, and COVID was just out of control that week, and so we said, let's do it outside. And he's got a studio in that shack, so he's got Pro Tools and all that stuff, and he's recorded some other great albums for guys like Chris Hart, and it goes on and on. But
cool.
So he's a good engineer, and so we just ran the cables into the studio. I stood outside, Boris stood outside, and we gave a couple practice runs, and then we had another guy, Jeremy, come out and help us film it, and Boris recorded it for us, and it was like -13 that day. It was cold. So I was like, let's just get this over with and do it. And so that because of the temperatures and keeping his guitar in tune and all that stuff, it was just like, let's hurry up and go. So it didn't take long, and we've been playing that song on and off for years. And so we grabbed it at the shack and recorded it live. And if you when you hear it, you can hear like Boris's guitar is kind of feeding at times, or I think one time I kicked the mic stand, you can hear a little. But
cool. That's all right, though.
We had fun, and we did it outdoors in the cold, and then I would go back in my car and warm up, and it was a lot of fun. So that's how we did it. We filmed it on February the 11th. Brian Ballmer was putting out emails like, "Get your videos in, hurry up!" So we got ours in on time, and we did it. So the building in the background is the side of the garage.
Nice. That's great. Well, I can understand that it was cold for sure, but you wouldn't know that this was a rushed take or anything like that, because it turned out great. It sounds awesome. So
well, we practiced a lot on our own before we got there, because Boris is the first guy to go, "You were sharp, you were flat," or like we're hard on each other, right? So
it's good.
I practiced a lot before we did it.
That way you could spend less time in the cold, too.
That's right. Yeah.
All right, well, check it out, you guys. This is great. This is Boris and Gord, we'll call it. It's called Bag.
Perfect.
Give me some money so I can buy a dream home. Give me some money so I could have it all. Give me some money so I can buy a new car. Give me some money before I take my fall. 'Cause I don't wanna die dreaming about a new way. I don't wanna die before I have it all. Maybe I could find a way to find it out another day. Give me some money so I could have it all. Give me a woman that I could hold on to. Give me a woman so I could have it all. Give me a woman to tell me that she loves me, babe. Give me a woman before I take my fall. 'Cause I don't wanna die dreaming about a new way. And I don't wanna die before I take my fall. Yeah, maybe I could find a way to make it through another day. Give me a woman so I could have it all. Give me an answer that I could hold on to. Give me a reason for the meaning of it all. Give me the answers to help me understand what I feel most. Give me a reason before I take my fall. 'Cause I don't wanna die dreaming about a new way. I don't wanna die before I have it all. Maybe I could find a way to make it through another day. Give me a reason so I could have it all.
Oh, yeah, that's a great song, huh? What do you guys think? That's a good one. That one's called Bag. Boris and Gord, we'll call that one. From Blue Bones, my guest tonight, Gord Prior, having a great conversation with him so far. Are you guys having some fun? I'm not even going to hit the yes button because I know it's not going to work. Here, I'll hit it anyway. Yes! No, you didn't hear it, did you? You didn't hear yes. Nobody's hearing yes out there. All right, well, good stuff. I'm enjoying myself, too. I hope you guys are enjoying yourselves. Great conversation going on. I just wanted to take a quick moment and let you guys know. Oh, my gosh, yes, it worked. You heard the word yes. Yes! That's amazing. I'm so happy to hear that. All right, so, hey, check it out. This is what's happening next week. I have a really special show. They're all special, in case you guys haven't noticed. Every show is a special show. Every artist is special. They all are awesome. They're all cool, and I love having them on my show. But next week, I am inviting my friend Marshall Brooks. If you haven't heard of Marshall Brooks, check him out. He's awesome. I had the pleasure of recording some tracks for Marshall just a few months ago. We recorded some drums for a few of his songs. We have some more to go to complete his album. But up to now, we've done 3 brand new songs for Marshall Brooks on his upcoming album that we recorded here at the Sound Shop. And this next video that I'm going to play here real quick, this next song is one of them, featuring yours truly on the drums. But Marshall's going to come down to the studio next week. I'm excited to have him in here. We're going to mic him up, and we're going to have him with his acoustic guitar. And we're going to get him to play a few songs live right here in the studio. So be sure to join me next week. Marshall Brooks will be here Sunday night at 7 p.m., all right? So check it out. This is Marshall. This is one of the songs that we did. It was great. Check it out. Marshall Brooks.
A stone's throw over from the Ferndale Railroad tracks. Back in my day, my pappy would take me over to pick up taconite. I remember that. Times are changing, yeah, the old whistle blows, but it ain't the same train. Home again. Out of school in the dead.
That's right. Next week, Marshall Brooks will be joining me live here at Sound Shop Studios in beautiful Macomb, Michigan. Happy to be checking in here. I'm at West Mix Central here. This is Kevin's beautiful home base, his control room, where we make all of our beautiful Elsie Binks music right here. And, of course, I record all sorts of different awesome, cool tracks like that one you just heard from Marshall right here as well in West Mix Studios, Sound Shop Studios, home of West Mix Productions. I'll get it straight one of these days. In the meantime, let's get back to the show, shall we? Let's bring him back on camera. My good friend, Mr. Gord Prior, joining me again. Gord, thank you, buddy.
Thank you, buddy.
Great to have you on the show, man. That is another cool tune, huh? That's a great one. That's a nice acoustic song right there. And it was cold.
Thank
It
you.
sounds so good, even though it was cold. And I didn't hear any microphone kick anyway, just so you know.
I can hear it, but that's cool. It's live.
Right, yeah. Just don't tell us where it is and no one will even know. We'll think it's
That's
like
right.
some percussion thing going on or something.
That's right.
There's my friend West Mix EBX Kevin is checking in over there on Twitch. He says he just got home. He was coming home from Ohio today, and I called him just about 5:15. And I was looking for a piece of gear here in the studio, and I'm like, Kevin, I need to find the thing. And he's like, check over there. And I'm like, okay, there it is. And then he informed me that he was driving home from Ohio, going to visit his grandkids. And so he's home safe now, and he's tuning in. So thank you for being here, Kev. I'm checking in from your little home and corner office, we'll call it. So, Kevin, this is my good friend Gord Prior. Blue Bones is his band. Kevin has been he's been in the industry for a long time. He has a hell of a good resume and a lot of cool, interesting tales to tell. He is also the reason that Elsie Binks was blessed and fortunate to play the Whiskey A Go-Go in California, which was an amazing bucket list thing for us. So it was awesome. He was one of his best friends was Nick Menza, the drummer for Megadeth.
Wow.
Who passed away relatively recently. And due to that connection, we were invited to come and play for a benefit for Nick in Hollywood, and it was really awesome. So, we sort of did a tour across the U.S. and back to get out there and make our way home. But once we were in Hollywood, we had 3 dates booked, and one of them being at the Whiskey, and then one of them being at this benefit. So it was really an amazing experience, So and so I'm happy. Thanks for being here, Kev. It's good to have you. I'm sure you missed some of the awesome music, but knowing him, he'll go back and have a listen anyway. So, and he's also like my audio engineer, like in the field.
That's awesome.
He'd be like, "Dude, your microphone's not loud enough," or "Hey, dude, you can't hear your guest," or whatever. So
that's great.
Yeah, it's good to have people like that in your corner, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'll tell you this much: if the borders open up and you can get back to the United States soon, I would love to have you come over to the sound shop and come for a tour and check the place out.
Oh, I would love that.
It's a beautiful facility here, and I'm only like 30 minutes from Port Huron, so it's really not too far from London. It's about an hour and a half from London. So,
well, I mean, I'm going to hold you to that, and these are things we got to look forward to because this too shall pass.
Yes.
And we will get back to concerts. We will get back to doing what we used to do. Just not soon enough, but we're getting there.
Right.
So we got to stay positive, right?
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
And so hold on to those thoughts because then when we do it, it's going to make it even more special, right?
It's an open invitation, my friend. So as soon as it's possible, you have any time, you're more than welcome, of course.
That would be great.
Yeah, for sure. We were talking a little bit about how COVID, during this time of COVID and the pandemic and lockdown, you were able to get this song recorded and this video done, and it was sort of a blessing to help pass this time and this dark time for you guys. And for yourself, it was a nice way to have this creative outlet, I wanted to just kind of tell you in our case, and this is why one of the reasons why I was like, man, I want to get Gord on the show. Staying active during a time when it's really difficult to, it's all like the bottom has literally fallen out of everything, and yet here we are finding ways of staying active and creating music and creating videos and still going, in our case with our band, we have literally recorded almost our entire 4th record on during this pandemic. We've even gone as far as we'll live stream me tracking drums on a show, for a song.
They love that. People love that. They like to see the process too, because you're letting them kind of into the inner workings of how you get to the finish line, right? And it's interesting if you're a music fan.
It's a different side of things. Like I think to myself, like imagine when we were kids, right? If Van Halen said, "Hey, Eddie's going to be recording a guitar solo in the studio today. You want to come and watch?"
Yeah.
I'd be like, yeah, right. So
cool, man.
Yeah. So, I mean, not to say that this is anything to that degree, but in our own little way, it's interesting for our fans to come and sort of voyeur what we're doing here in the studio on a regular basis. And everyone, just like you guys, I'm the exception because I sort of need the studio to do my part of it, But and I'm sort of in my home base here anyway, which is nice. So it kills two birds with one stone. But otherwise, everyone has been, at home tracking guitars on their own studio at home, and then sending the files here, and we bring them into Pro Tools, and it's literally been, even vocals have all been done on site at their own locations.
Wow.
So this fourth record's coming together really well. I'm super excited. We've got I think 14 songs lined up for it.
That's a lot of songs.
It's going to be
a lot of.
Yeah, it's been a lot of work. It's going to be a full length. I think we're going to do 12 originals. We're going to do a cover on there, and then we were kind of hired in to do a song for someone else. Like they wrote the song, and then they asked us to do it and record it, and vocals and all of it. And then it was supposed to head out to California for a soundtrack for a movie, and I don't know where that process is at, but we're gonna, if we can do it with publishing and all the things, we're gonna put that one on the album as well. So
yeah. Now the band you're in now, did you ever play London?
As a matter of fact, yes, this band one time.
Where was it?
It was at East Sides in London.
Perfect. And I will tell you this: Boris was on the phone with me. We talk every day. He goes, "I saw Darren and his band, and you blew him away."
Yeah, Boris was there, and he
said you were amazing. Yeah, he loved it. He goes, "Gord, unreal." Really. Yeah,
I love hearing that. Yeah, Boris was there. I remember we chatted for a little bit that night, and he was so complimentary and so kind as always, And
yeah, he's a gentleman, that guy.
And it was really, that's great to hear. I love hearing that. Yeah, that was an Abandoned Souls had a gig there. And it was the one and only time that Elsie Binks has gone international.
That's awesome.
Because they're a U.S. band, but I managed to get us to
across the border.
managed to get them to Canada back in the day when we were allowed to cross.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and it was a lot of fun, and I saw Steve Kovacs there. Of course, Tim Thompson was there.
Yeah.
I mean, it was nice.
True, right?
Yeah, Paul Squazine was there. It was just nice to see some of these people that I hadn't seen in a while. And Kevin's looking over there. He says, that was a kick-ass show. It was a kick-ass show. It was a lot of fun, yeah. And I love that Boris was, you remember that conversation.
The other day, he's like, "Oh, tell him I said hello," and that was a great show.
So that's awesome. I love that. Barb's saying we need to come back. Well, the next time we come back, we'll try to, whenever it's Kate, we're able to cross the border and stuff, we should do a whole big blowout somewhere, and we'll just have Blue Bones and,
Even if I can't pull the whole band together because of distance and COVID and whatever's going on, at the very least, me and Boris could come out and do a couple songs.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that would be amazing, right? Wouldn't that be so fun? Let's hope it can happen sooner than later.
I hope so.
Oh man, Barb. Oh God, yes, she says. But I don't know if you're probably not seeing what she's saying. She's over on Twitch comment. She's like, "Oh God." Kevin says, "I remember having a great mix."
There you go.
The things you remember, huh?
Yeah.
So I don't know if you heard that, Kev, but Boris, the guitar player for Blue Bones, was at that show, and I remember chatting with him that night. But he just gave us some nice props, which is good to hear. Awesome.
Well, he told me to tell you.
I appreciate it, and tell him I said thank you so much. And that was the last time I saw him, actually. So it'd be nice to see him again as well, for sure. All right, so let's talk a little bit now about you played the last show somewhere kind of cool, huh? You did the very last.
Yeah, I'm trying to. My dates might be wrong. I wrote it down the other day, but I'm pretty sure it was January 9th, 1993. Wow. And we used to play a lot of the circuit in Toronto. We used to play the Gasworks all the time, and RPM, and the Opera House, and Spectrum, and a whole bunch of different venues, Nags Head North and all that. You've probably done a lot of these shows yourself.
Yeah.
We did play the Gasworks, like we were mentioning earlier, with Aces Wild.
Yeah.
And we were only booked on a Friday, and so Blue Bones was playing the Gasworks on a Friday, and it was a normal gig. It was a Friday night in downtown Toronto. It was packed. They had those big jugs of beer.
Yeah, right.
And all the staff, all the girls from the House of Lords were there, and it was, it wouldn't be odd if the Killer Dwarfs walked in at any moment. It was just the best, right?
For sure. I mean, and it made it into Wayne's World, right? It's like Gasworks.
The Gasworks. For me back then, it was home away from home. I could walk into the Gasworks if I wasn't having a gig, and I would be able to get fed, have a beer, and have a place to stay.
Right. Awesome.
One of the staff would put me up,
And catch a cool band while you're at it.
Yeah, so we were just playing. We were booked just for the Friday. They had another band booked for the Saturday. And I remember at the end of the night, the club owner, the manager said, hey, we had a cancellation for Saturday. The band canceled last minute. Would you guys be able to, like, your gear's already set up. You just did a show. Can you leave your gear and come back and play again tomorrow night? And our drummer, Steve Thomas, had a side day job back then that was part-time, but he had a shift booked. And this is before the cell phones were around. So he used it. There was always that row of payphones when you loaded in the back door through that rat-infested alleyway behind the Gasworks. And he called on a payphone and got the night off. He said, okay, I can do it. I have to find out if I can take the night off. So he got the night off. So we left our gear there, and we just drove home to London. It was only a couple-hour drive. We went, we knew the next day we'd just drive back to Toronto and do the show on the Saturday. I don't know how this gentleman from Hong Kong, this investor, I don't know how he got my number. I lived on Queen's Ave in downtown London for many, many years in a bachelor apartment in a red brick old Victorian home. My phone rings at 9 a.m. and the guy says, did you play the Gasworks last night? And he's saying it in a very thick accent.
Right.
And I can barely understand him. And I said, yes. And he goes, come get your gear. That's how he worded it. Come get your gear. I said, what do you mean, come get our gear? We're playing tonight. He goes, Gasworks closed. Come get gear. I'm like, what?
Right?
So I start making some calls, right? And
you must have thought it was like a joke at first. Like, who is this clown? Like,
this guy flew in from Hong Kong, owns the Gasworks, shut it down with no notice. We drive to Toronto because we're not going to leave our gear.
Of course. That's a good 2 hours, you said.
Good 2 hours. We go down in the afternoon. It was the weirdest thing in the world, right? Because he lets us in. We, start packing up our drums and our backline and our amps. Not a lot of stuff, right? Sure. But if you remember, the Gasworks had an amazing PA system.
Yeah.
It was loud and it was great. And Johnny Watt was the wicked sound man. He passed away. He was a dear friend. Rest in peace. Last time I saw him was with Aerosmith in Kitchener. Anyway,
nice.
He goes, is the rest of this yours? Are the lights and the PA yours? I'm like, no.
Yes.
This is the amps, right? So it was a weird day because, it was like being in a, I don't know. It was weird. It felt like we were in a movie because, everything was still like it was the night before, and we're loading out, and we're thinking, what is going on? And that was the end of it. And I remember saying when we left, I took one thing from the Gasworks. I wish I didn't lose track of it. I took an ashtray. I thought, if this is really happening, I want a memento. I'm taking an ashtray. And we're driving home, and I remember saying to the guys on the way home, I'm like, back then, Skid Row were huge. Sebastian Bach was at his peak, right?
Right.
And I knew him from before he was famous. He used to come see me in a cover band called Steel Lily.
Right.
And we had been to a few parties together. And it was no secret that back then people used to tell him or me that we looked a little bit alike.
Yeah, I remember that. Absolutely. For sure.
Even my own mother said that once. Anyways.
There's a scroll in the images that are scrolling on your scene right now. There's a shot with you, with Kim Mitchell, and Sebastian Bach in there. So one of the pictures you sent me.
Yeah, he's a cool guy and one of the greatest rock singers of all time. But I said to Boris and the guys, I'm like, I'll bet you anything. Because at the time, Sebastian was I think he was on the cover of Rolling Stone that year. He said, I said, I'll bet you anything Sebastian Bach is going to try to reopen the Gasworks. I just had this feeling. And sure enough, about a week later, maybe 2 weeks later, I got a phone call from Andy Curran.
Oh, geez.
From Coney Hatch. He's been the executive producer for Rush for the past 10 years, working at SRO Management. But he's also a great musician. You know him.
Guitar player, right? Yeah.
bass player.
Bass player. Yes.
Yeah.
Coney Hatch bass player. Yeah.
And Sebastian and him, and I think maybe Greg Godovitz from Gatto.
Nice.
Sure enough, they're like, we're going to try to reopen the Gasworks, and they did. Wow. And I'll never that's a whole other story. That was a party where you had Helix playing, or Brian Vollmer was there. You had Anvil, Saga, all the alumni from the Gasworks, anybody that ever could have played there.
Yeah.
They boarded up the windows. You had to be invited. It only held so many people, and I'll never forget this. Like, we're all packed into the Gasworks for this big reopening, and what a party that was. There was no supervisors that evening.
Yeah, the windows are boarded shut, so you're good.
Yeah. So, I mean, it was fun. It was a lot of fun.
And so your claim to fame with this Gasworks one is then basically you closed the Gasworks. And
technically, we were the last band to actually play the Gasworks from its beginnings in the 60s. It actually closed with us.
Right.
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. It did reopen later.
Do you know how long that transition was from time to closing to reopening?
It was a few months, and I think it reopened under different management. And we did play there again, but it was never quite the same. Like right. That disconnect was. It really did change the tradition of the Gasworks. Sure. And Bill was the original owner manager, right?
Right.
And everyone loved Bill.
It wasn't the same. You couldn't walk in and have something to eat and a beer and a place to stay kind of vibe anymore.
It was a little different, yeah.
Right. I wanted to ask you, Kevin, I noticed over... Oh, well, first of all, James Todd is checking in over on Facebook. He's talking about the East Side show. He says it was a really good show. It was a lot of fun. Absolutely. Kevin over on West Mix, he said that he mixed... You must remember Treble Charger.
Oh, absolutely. They drove me home on a tour bus from Collie Office with the Posies one night. They pulled me up in front of my apartment on Queens and dropped me off. Yeah.
Right. So Kevin worked with Treble Charger for many years, and he made a comment over on Twitch that he mixed Treble Charger at a sold-out show at the Opera House in Toronto back in those days. So
they were an awesome band. The one guy ended up managing Sum 41.
Yes, correct. Yeah, absolutely. He was with them for a while until I think he had some trouble at the border getting back across. They were like some with his work visa, and he didn't have it. And then I think he couldn't go back on that tour because he couldn't cross back over with his visa or something. So, and then my buddy Tom Harper, I noticed he's checking in as well. He says he gives this podcast 5 vibra-slaps.
Well, thank you.
Well, the vibra-slap is a thing for me. I love the vibra-slap.
Is that the thing you hear in Crazy Train?
Yeah, right, yeah.
Yeah, you can never go wrong with those.
Right, so it's a thing for me. I have what I call a stinger. Whenever I start like one of my own videos or whenever I start one of my own things, it comes up with my DC Drums logo, and it goes... for like a second and a half or whatever it is.
Crazy!
Right, it's my thing.
That's great.
So the vibra-slap is making a comeback. I've even put it into some of our original recordings on LC Binks.
That's a fun thing to have, eh?
I love it.
It's almost better than the cowbell, right?
Right, it really is. Like more vibra-slap. That should be a thing.
More vibra-slap.
Another funny thing is washboard. I actually played washboard on a track here for an artist. Yeah, it was really an interesting, fun track to do a washboard on. It was cool. So.
Yeah, that would be cool.
It was neat. So Greg Norrie, Kevin says. Greg Norrie.
That's the guy. Smart guy.
Yeah.
Talented guy.
Kevin is asking, what's the name of the place in Toronto that has 2 rooms? I mixed a show there in the 90s. The Gasworks had 2 rooms.
The upstairs and the downstairs.
But I don't know if that was it. I'm guessing it probably wasn't. It might have been. Was it an upstairs and a downstairs, Kev?
Yeah.
Because if it was 2 rooms and it was upstairs, downstairs, it definitely would have been the Gasworks right on Yonge Street, right downtown.
I got a lot of funny stories. One time at the Gasworks, not in my band Blue Bones, but in Steel Lily, which was a lot of band members went through Steel Lily. I was one of the original singers. I was in that band twice. And Edwin from My Mother Earth was even in that band.
Oh, wow,
and
I didn't know that.
He did a tribute to Journey.
Wow.
Wild, eh?
Holy cow.
I cannot picture it. I never saw it, but
No.
yeah.
Interesting.
And anyhow, the one night we were there, we had a pyro guy. Back then we traveled with a pyro guy, a spotlight guy. It was wild. And he had the idea of putting incense in the flash pots, thinking it'll smell better. And back then they were mixing their own flash
Oh,
pots.
yeah, there was nothing legal about it.
No.
Not
powder.
CSA approved.
Yeah. So I don't know if you remember the main floor of the Gasworks. When I'd be on stage and the heads of the crowd, the front row would be at my feet.
Right.
And I remember we were doing Train Kept Rolling by Aerosmith. And there's that big, drum fill in the middle, and then it goes to cut time, down,
Yeah.
So that's where the bombs go off, and I would do the big. Out of the corner of my eye, though, I see this like ember, and everyone had big boffed hair with ice mist, which is basically rocket fuel.
Aquanet.
Oh yeah, and this little ember hits this girl in the front row, and she's looking up at me. I look down at her, and all I see, it looked like a special effect from Star Trek. Just her hair just went like a blue dome. I'm putting it out with my hand. She's wondering, why is this guy rubbing my head, right? Like, at the same time, upstairs, a very well-known cover band called Vehicle was playing. Their smoke machine was between the kick drums back then.
Right.
It turned into a flamethrower.
Oh, no.
And set the backdrop on fire.
Jeez.
So that night, the fire department showed up at the Gasworks. Sirens are going, and us in our spandex and lipstick and like that.
And the fire department guys are like, "Excuse me, ladies, we have to get in."
Yeah, exactly. No more pyro ever at the Gasworks after that. That was the end.
Oh, that's great. No more homemade pyro at the Gasworks ever again.
No more homemade pyro. That was the end of pyro. So back, so if a band like Alive was to go play the Gasworks after that, no pyro.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, I remember Aces Wild used pyro at Ricky's. We did our CD release party, and that wasn't a very tall scene. Well, it was Legends actually, because we did it next door. We didn't do it at Ricky's. We did it in Legends, and yeah, we used some pyro, but it wasn't like a very tall ceiling, And we released that album that we did that show there in I guess it was '94 probably when we released that record. I guess, but we actually had cartridges that were CSA approved, and and it still hit the ceiling. It was it's
crazy, back
sparklery
then.
stuff though. It wasn't any flamethrower stuff going on, no concussions or anything.
Yeah, that's funny. And the smell, you're up there singing and you're breathing in all this gunpowder smoke.
Right. Here, I'll throw some incense in there. That should help.
That'll help.
I love it. Well, on that note, this sounds like a good time we could play this next song, huh? What do you think?
That'd be great. Well, this is there's a really good friend of mine out there, Alan Robertson, that filmed a lot of Blue Bones shows. I didn't know him back then, but he would come out and film us all the time, and he was kind enough to send me a lot of these old concert footage. So cool. I think this is from something he filmed. It was us at RPM. We were probably playing with the Killer Dwarfs or Sven Galley back then.
Nice.
On a show. And don't play the whole thing, though, because it gets a bit crazy. Back in the 90s, like we were talking about, it was in to do these long, drawn-out instrumental endings. So I don't want to bore the audience too much. But this is the old Blue Bones live, basically, an old VHS tape.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I mean, you have to remember, this was 1994, and there wasn't cell phones with HD cameras and compression and on your microphones and all. This is literally raw footage from a VHS camcorder, basically. Here it is. Check it out. This is called "You're Insane."
Right.
Man. Cool tune, brother. Cool tune. 1994. Look at that.
Yeah.
RPM. Dreadlocks, RPM. That's great, man. That's cool. I love that it's like a random fan sent you the video. And
Yeah.
And in 1994, you don't have, I mean, I don't know how much good quality video that I have of Aces Wild at all. Like none, you know?
We weren't thinking about it back then, you know?
And the technology wasn't there. You know, everybody's walking around with a camcorder, like a killer camcorder in their pockets now, you know?
It's crazy.
And to some degrees, I'm really glad that cell phones weren't around back then. But and other things, you know, when you see stuff like that, but that in itself from 94 being, you know, that guy probably walked in with this giant thing on his shoulder. Yeah, I'm here to take a camera of the van, doing a video, you know, and then
exactly what he.
And then this many years later, you get it, and it's still like good quality, and it, you know, it held up, and it's like, you know, like old, like it's 20-something years old, and it still sounds great. You know, that's cool.
Yeah, it is cool.
I can't find that stuff for Aces Wild anymore.
Sure. Takes you right back.
Yeah, right. I seem to have a hard time finding good quality stuff from any of my bands that I was involved in back in those days.
Yeah, it's a bit of a blur, some of it.
Yeah, right. All right, so I want to talk a little bit. Let's see. Gord and his stories. Oh, this is my buddy Tom. He says, Gord and his stories are great. This is a great podcast. Video is awesome. 5 Vibra slaps.
There you go.
I love the Vibra slaps. Thanks, Tom. Good to see you, brother. So I want to make sure we've covered all things Gord Prior, all things Blue Bones. Make sure that we're not missing anything. I'm glad that we got to share that new song and the other new acoustic song that you did with Boris. I've had an awesome time chatting with you. Let's make sure we do this again sooner than later. And in the meantime, I want to make sure that everybody knows how to find Blue Bones and how to get your music and where to get your music. And maybe you can just give us all of the social links to make sure that we're not missing anything.
Well, we got Blue Bones on Bandcamp. If you type in Bandcamp Blue Bones, you'll get to our basic Bandcamp site where you can actually download a full high-resolution file, like a CD quality file.
Nice.
And you can do that there. And then all the other streaming platforms that exist, you know, from Apple Music, iTunes, Amazon, Spotify, all that. That new song is out on that.
Awesome.
And now that we've started that kind of process, we're going to gradually take our back catalog and start putting it up on Spotify and all these other streaming platforms as well. And then we're on Twitter, Blue Bones at Twitter, Blue Bones Band at Twitter, and we have a Facebook page. Google's your best friend. If you type in any of these things, it'll come up right away.
Yeah, and I usually keep all the links. I've had all the social links on the screen as well for Facebook and Instagram. They can see there. It's at Blue Bones Band, and then for your Twitter, I believe it was at Blue Bones _ I think is what it is.
Right.
Correct.
Yeah, and I'm new at the Instagram thing. I'm always behind the curve a little bit on some of this social media stuff, but
there's a lot to digest, though. You know, there really is. So you're not alone. That's for sure.
Yeah. So some of it's new and some of it's old. Facebook, obviously, I'm very familiar with that, but Twitter's newer and so is Instagram. But we're on there.
Pat Samuel Robinson, our friend Pat Samuel Robinson's checking in over on Facebook. He said, "Great podcast. Thank you."
Right on. Thank you.
Thanks, Pat. Well, good. So at least you're everywhere. You've got people can find your music online. They can search for Blue Bones, BLU BONES, Blue Bones. You can find them all over the place. And Gord, what about? Let me ask you this before we go. What's the plan moving forward now? And I know you're going to get some of your back catalog stuff. Are you looking to write more music with this lineup and put more new music out? Proceeding with more, videos and. Or what's the kind of the plan right now?
Well, this hanging out with Boris thing has led to, we've got about 9 or 10 songs just, on our iPhones.
Great.
Some of them are really still keeping our interest, and so the goal, like, we got slowed down a lot by the pandemic.
Sure.
We want to record more. We want to do more, and keep the same team and just keep putting out songs. And songs, once they're out, they take on a life of their own. Hopefully, when things return to some form of normal, might be a new normal.
Right.
Playing live is a whole different thing, but in what capacity and how we're able to do that, it's hard for any of us to say.
Sure.
But we're open to anything, and the main thing is just to keep writing and recording, because at least it's something that's permanent. Once you've finished a song, mixed a song, recorded it, and put it out there, it's out there forever. And
Right.
It'd be nice over the next few years to be able to add a whole pile of new songs to our catalog, just for the love of it and the fun of it. And for those out there that enjoy hearing from us, it's a blessing.
Absolutely, yeah. Do you think the new stuff is going to take the spin of more along the lines of what you just released with this new song? Or do you think it's going to do you have a flavor, kind of specific flavor that it's going to head? Or do you think it's just we don't even know yet? It's too early to tell.
I think it's going to be very eclectic. So, like, if you think about a band, like if you think about In Through the Outdoor by Led Zeppelin,
Sure.
It's got All of My Love, then it's got In the Evening. You remember those older, you think of a Queen album with This Thing Called Love, that catchy little song, and then they have, like, something really heavy on it. So those records were very diverse.
Sure.
Now, I don't know if it's just me getting older, but it seems like nowadays, like if a rock band puts out a record like Breaking Benjamin, excellent band, excellent production. I know their producer quite well, David Bendith, but it's very consistent, right?
Yeah.
It's not as diverse, not like Physical Graffiti. So
Right.
Because we're not a big famous band, we can just do whatever we want. So the next song we're working on, it kind of starts out with classical flamenco guitar, and it kind of gets into like a heavy rock rap thing, and then the chorus is a big stadium sing-along, and I have a vision of like a choir, like a big beautiful choir in the middle with all these voices.
Fantastic.
Choir. So the next song, if we work hard and get it done, it's going to be completely different.
Good, though. That's good. I mean, you're talking about Led Zeppelin and Queen, so you can't go wrong.
Well, I mean, they just kind of went anywhere they felt, right?
Yeah.
And so we're just doing whatever. It's like water finds a crack, right? We just do whatever. Yeah, we like this song. Let's finish it. Does it fit with the last song we did? Who cares?
That's great.
As long as we feel like it's fun and we can put everything into it, that's all that matters.
Right. And like you said, the end product is out there, and once it's out there, it takes on its own life. But let's not forget about the process that you're going to have and the enjoyment and all the stuff that you're going to get out of it. Just yourselves,
Yeah.
aside from the end product, aside from all the rest of that stuff, and aside from the fans and the people that want to hear the music and all the things, just what it's going to do for you guys personally is, I mean, hey, we're 50-something here. We're 50-something and we're still making music with our friends. We're pretty blessed, dude.
God bless you. That's very true. We're very lucky.
Absolutely.
Cheers to you.
Cheers. Well, you guys, I want to say thanks to Gord Prior for being here tonight. I hope you all had a good time with us. Diane Dixon says she can't wait for more Blue Bones.
Aw, thanks, Diane.
I'm sure Gord can't wait to bring it to you either.
Yeah.
Right. So anyway, thank you guys for being here tonight. Gord, thank you for being on the show, man. It was so good to catch up with you.
I'm grateful. Thank you so much.
My pleasure so much. And I look forward to chatting with you again, and I look forward to some more great music coming out of you guys. So
Thanks. This is my first podcast.
Hey, I broke your cherry.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Good. Well, I'm glad to hear. At least it wasn't like, the backdrop's on fire and you're running, screaming, and the fire, I'm never doing that again.
Yeah. No, it was a lot of fun. Thank you so much, Darren.
My pleasure. I'm glad that you had fun, and I'm glad that I didn't scar you for life on podcasting.
No, it was a great way to spend the night. Thank you.
Thank you. Everyone's saying good night. Barb says good night. Sandra, good night. Kevin over there, good night. Diane, good night, everybody. Thank you all for tuning in. Gord, stick around. We're going to chat after the show here real quick. But in the meantime, I just want to let everybody know what's coming up next week and all that stuff. So, Gord, thank you, my friend. It's great to see you. and we will catch up again real soon.
Thanks. Rock and roll.
Gord Prior, ladies and gentlemen. The band is called Blue Bones. You can find them all over the place. Check them out. Great stuff, great songs, great interview tonight. I had a lot of fun chatting with him. Yes, Kevin, looking forward to you meeting Gord as well. Thank you guys for being here. Thanks for your support. I can't actually tell you guys how much it means to me to know that I have you guys hanging out and listening to me. It means a lot to me because I put a lot into this show. I try my best to make it fun and make it interesting and do something different and bring music to the world that they may have not ever heard before. So I hope you guys are enjoying it. Please remember to go and like all of my socials. My Facebook page, Darren Curtis Drums. My YouTube, you can subscribe to my YouTube channel, Darren Curtis Drums, over there, and hit the bell, the notification bell, and you'll get alerted whenever I have another episode. Every Sunday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then, of course, you can catch it on Twitch as well, twitch.tv/Darren Curtis Drums. I stream over there as well. You can find all my EBX crew over there streaming on a regular basis, EBX Johnny, and, of course, EBX Aaron and EBX Jen, and Westmix_EBX over there, too. We've been going through a lot of fun getting this fourth record recorded, and it's going to be a great record when it's done. I'm super excited for it. Lots of really cool stuff coming out of this camp right now, and I love all of the people in my band, and I love all you guys for being here and being a part of this. Speaking of love, I have a lot of love for this guy that's going to be on next week. This is going to be a fun show. Don't forget, my buddy Marshall Brooks is going to be joining me right here in the studio. He's going to play some songs live. We're going to have a great interview, great chat. And this is one of the songs that I had a pleasure of tracking with Marshall drums on. And so I look forward to having him in the studio. Check it out next week.
Stone's throw over from the Ferndale Railroad tracks.
So don't forget, you guys, next week, my buddy Marshall Brooks will be here joining me in the studio. He's going to play live for us right here, some of his original music, including this one. Great song that I had a lot of fun recording with him. Marshall Brooks next week, Sunday at 7. Thanks again to my buddy Gord Prior from Blue Bones. Check those guys out online. In the meantime, y'all have a great week, and I will see you next week, Sunday at 7 p.m. Bands Across the Water. Peace.
Just can't make it home again.
Oh no!
Oh no!
Oh no!
Oh no!
Oh no! Oh yeah!